Hello, hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of November 3rd through 9th. First full week of November. What do you guys need to know? I think I'm going to give you the general spiel. Can't speak today. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies or the influences of the week. And comments down below. I always enjoy your comments. Let me know if this resonates. Let me know if it doesn't. I always recommend watching this in the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week, so you can kind of get the full picture and kind of check in with yourself throughout the week. And some things will click better, if you do it in the middle or the end. So, all right, I think that's it, guys. My videos are getting too long, so let's begin. What do we need for the first week of November? Yang. Okay, so we have Yang energy. So that is doing energy. That is getting things done. That's structured, analytical, crossing things off your to-do list. So it's saying that we need to kind of get into that energy, and right off the bat it's kind of saying, like, let's get stuff done, and exactly like I said, crossing off stuff off your to-do list. So not too much more I can say here, but so far the energy coming out of the gate feels like it'll be a little bit of a busy week. We're getting things done, not a lot of procrastinating, but it's only the first card, so let's keep going. Action needed. Rescuer. Okay. Provide strength and support to others in crisis. Acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Okay, and this is it. It's not in the shadow. It's actually in the light. So it's saying action needed, to be the helper, to help those in need, especially somebody in a crisis. So you definitely might have a friend, family member, child, something like that coming to you with an issue. And you're more than happy to help them out. You have the means to help them out. That's also why it's in the light. It's not that you're doing anything that would necessarily sacrifice. It's not like a pouring from an empty cup kind of thing. It's kind of like your cup is full and you're able to do what you are able to do and help out. And that's always a good sign, because that means we're, this week at least, we're a little bit out of the survival mode. If you feel like you're in a survival mode, whether it's financially, whether it's physically, whatever it actually is, whatever's going on in your life. So this definitely feels like we have the means to give, and we do. And that's really amazing. So it's saying action needed, so we're actually going to do something. So you could be lending money to someone. You could be helping somebody out with any like, it's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Sharing your resources is a better way to put it. So you definitely take action on that. Issue. We have breathe. Okay, so we have issue breathing. I don't know if that's literal. Like somebody might have COVID or something this week. Could be. Sometimes spirit, comes through with these messages literal. But I think for the majority of people, I do read for the collective, so it's a lot of people, that we're having issues relaxing, we're having issues taking a pause, we're having an issue taking a break, taking a nap, those kinds of things. This would make sense with the Yang energy coming out off the bat there, because it's saying that we're having issues pausing, we're having issues taking a break. So that also, again, indicates that we're busy. We have a lot of things that we're doing and crossing off our to-do lists. So that makes sense to me. Just all I can say is, like, be careful you don't burn yourself out. The Yang also symbolizes structure. So to me, not always, but kind of to prevent burnout, like make sure things are structured and you schedule time for maybe like a break. You don't overschedule yourself, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is another indication that we might have a pretty busy week. Challenge. Artist in the shadow, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as a starving artist. Okay. So basically this is saying we're having issues with a creative project. We're having a challenge with, we might have writer's block. We might be trying to do something creative, and we're having issues with it. We're hitting a wall with it. Maybe you're trying to learn to play an instrument and you're hitting a wall and you're getting really frustrated. I definitely do feel like there's a challenge here in our artistic and creative abilities. Maybe you're somebody, it doesn't necessarily have to be a creative job, but maybe part of your job this week is to elicit more creative or innovative thinking, and you're having trouble with it or something along those lines. But I definitely do feel like we have a challenge here with your creative side, a creative side being blocked. And I definitely feel like it's frustrating, but I definitely get the feeling that it starts to let up. So if you feel like you're working on a creative project, I will say, I know we didn't, pull cards for the next week, but something tells me that this is, it's kind of like a temporary thing, and things will open up, better, by the weekend, going into the following week. So what's changing, guys? Fork in the road. Okay, fork in the road is usually a decision between two things, path A or path B. So basically it's saying what's changing is that you have options. Okay, so definitely and this could be for any area of life. Okay, definitely not getting like a specific area. This means that you have more options, like your options are opening up. Like it could be, maybe you finally got a certification, and that means your options open up for jobs. Like now you have more of an option to apply to different roles. You don't have to necessarily be doing what you're doing. Maybe you came into money and you don't have to be working so much anymore, or extreme overtime, or a gig that you didn't like, or whatever it actually is. Maybe you moved and you moved from like the country to the city, and now you have more options for dating. It could mean anything in any area. So it definitely does feel like things are opening up for you, and you feel like you have more options, which is great. It makes you feel a little bit more liberated. Very curious to see. I don't know if there's an archetype liberator, but there are similar archetypes that elicit that energy, that give off that energy. So I'm wondering if that will come up, because it definitely feels like we're becoming a little bit more free in choosing what we can do with their lives, or opening up an area of our lives that was previously feeling like we were jailed, which is very interesting. Because if you guys haven't seen the monthly, please go ahead and check that out. It came out on Halloween evening, so I understand if you were trick-or-treating or going out to Halloween parties, you missed it. It is available. Please watch it. There was definitely hints in there about us kind of feeling like we're out of a cage now, we're out of jail now. This could you could literally be coming out of jail or coming off of probation or something. Like it felt like for the month you were like kind of getting out of character or overindulging because you were kind of jailed or not feeling free, right? And so it's very interesting that we have what's changing. Definitely feels major is that like now we have more options. We have more than one option at the very least. So I like that. More liberation, feeling more free. Yeah, not too much more I can say there. So let's see what the rest of the reading has to say about that. If anything else comes up, focus in the shadow. We have the mediator. Okay, hidden agenda, ulterior motive. Could be personal or professional. Okay, so we've gotten kind of like this, whether we've literally got this card or just similar energy to this, about really being able to see all sides of things. This comes in the shadow, saying that we're not necessarily doing that, and that we have like an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda, or we have a bias of some kind, basically. So basically it's saying focus on really pinpointing that bias, becoming aware of those motives, becoming aware of those hidden agendas. The thing that's coming up here too is like, this could manifest into manipulating someone or trying to manipulate results of some kind, and we are trying to do that in some way, shape, or form, and it's not going to go well for us. So if you're trying to do that, and you might be doing it subconsciously, that's why this is coming up. You're doing it in an unconscious or subconscious way, where you're trying to maybe sway an outcome to something, to go into your favor, and it's not going to go in your favor. So the best thing that you can do is make it a priority to highlight some of those biases, highlight the ways that you might be unconsciously manipulating something, and just like be honest with yourself about it, because I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to do that, it's not going to work. And I think that's kind of like the buildup of like the last few times that we've kind of gotten this message saying like it's really important to really see things for what they actually are and really stay in the middle as best you can and unbiased as best you can, instead of trying to manipulate outcomes that will work better for you, instead of letting whatever happen and let it be a fair outcome, if that makes sense. So that's what it's saying is a priority, and definitely focus on that. So hopefully that makes sense. And if anybody has any stories or how that fits into their life or resonates, let me know down below, because I can't think of anything specifically for me. But maybe I'll look back at this, and things will make sense as the week goes on. But I would love to hear how that resonates with you guys. All right, reflect. We have higher power. Ooh, we haven't gotten a card like this in a while, about connecting to our spiritual practices. So higher power is something beyond ourselves. So it's saying reflect on that. So this might be a week maybe that you're kind of reflecting on what you actually believe. Maybe not specifically in the area of like who you like. Do you believe in a God? Do you believe in a higher power? But maybe just your thoughts about how the world works, how the universe works, right? I know I have my own beliefs, and that's how I read, and that's how I conduct my channel, and that's, I understand like the laws of the universe, how they are, and I see those as like very factual for me. They're kind of like a clear cognizance for me, but maybe they're different for you. Okay, so it's asking you to kind of like reflect on what you actually believe about the world and what you believe to be true, and maybe those things are changing, I will say. Okay, because I'm definitely kind of getting that vibe. I know it's not under the change slot, but it definitely, things could have changed, in the last year, the last couple of years, especially if you've gone through something. So definitely reflect on that. And it's kind of asking you to reevaluate your faith and your beliefs, and, whether that's religion or spirituality. So yeah, that's kind of big. That's very interesting that that's coming up there. All right, responsibilities. Or actually, before I move on, one other thing it could be is that maybe, maybe not necessarily something that's happened in the last year, maybe something this week makes you question it. Okay, and that really kind of starts the dominoes for it. Okay, so I just wanted to add that. Okay, responsibilities, vampire, makes you aware that someone or something's draining your life force. Okay, so this means that you are aware of the things that drain you. You are aware of the boundaries that you have put in place, and you are adhering to those boundaries. So it's under responsibilities, which is great. It means that you're not allowing, nonsense. You're not allowing people to violate your boundaries. You're not allowing people to waste your time. Okay? And I love that. And it's a reminder saying like, it's your responsibility to adhere to those, right? And I love that with the yang energy, right? That definitely ties into that, because it's basically saying like, you're getting stuff done and you're not allowing all the extra stuff that could cause procrastination or drainage basically of your energy. You're just kind of going full force, going forward with it, and you're not allowing anything to like kind of hold you back. And I love that. And so it's under responsibility. So it's saying it's your responsibility to make sure you don't allow those things to get in your way. So I love that. Definitely learn from the past with that. Especially to those that maybe have had weak boundaries, or kind of or procrastinators themselves, or people pleasers, like things like that. Like it feels like you're cutting that crap out this week, and you're going for your goals. You're going for it. Money and finances, we have observer. Okay, so this is it's basically saying like we're looking but we're not necessarily participating. We're watching but we're not necessarily participating. It's not the time to actually take action on something. So it's under money, finances, and career. So this is basically like watch people. That sounds kind of creepy, but let me explain. It's kind of saying like if you see somebody and you and they're successful and you want the life that they want, or you want the role that they want, it's important that you like shadow them, if that makes sense. Like you watch them, if you're in sales and you want to be the top salesperson but you're not, so this is the energy of like, watch what the top salesperson does differently than you, right? It's kind of that energy. It's kind of saying like, fill in the gaps and, watch somebody, observe their actions, and then you can emulate them yourselves, right? And so it's kind of almost, I know we have like mentor cards in here, we have student, we have teacher, type archetypes that could kind of give off the same type of energy, but this is more so like saying like, you don't necessarily have to act on it right now, but it's important that you set your eyes on someone or something that is doing what you want to be doing. Like you should be soaking in the knowledge, not necessarily putting in something into action. And so if you're listening to this and maybe you're like, well, I've been watching somebody, this is definitely validation saying that you need to continue to watch somebody, right? And so maybe you've been watching YouTube videos about how to invest. This is basically saying like, you have to observe more, watch more YouTube videos. Maybe you haven't watched enough, to be at a advanced level or to start investing. So this is what this is saying. It's basically saying like, continue to be the watcher, continue to be the observer, continue, you're not quite ready to get to, to take action on this particular thing. And whatever this particular thing is whatever comes to your mind, first thing. If you're like, well, is she talking about the, me watching those investing YouTubes? Yes. If it clicks in that way and it's the first thing that comes to your mind, then yes, this is what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's under money, finances, and career. So it could be anything that has to do with any of those three things. Money and finances is the same thing, but yeah, this is really about like being a trainee is also like a good way to say it. So I love that for there. Okay, surprise. We have father in the shadow, dictatorial, control, abusive authority. Okay, same type of energy when it comes to the king. This one is a little bit more, king is sometimes more professional, not always, but father can be more personal. So I definitely feel it's coming in the surprise, and it came in the shadow. So, I don't love this one. So basically it's saying like a surprise dictatorial father figure or masculine figure of some kind comes, or an abusive authority comes through in a surprising way. We don't love that. So an abuse of power is going on here, and I think it knocks you off your feet because it's under surprise, so it kind of comes out of nowhere. So if you've been dealing with somebody like this, it's most likely not necessarily regarding that, referencing that particular situation, because it's something that almost feels like it comes out of the blue, or it comes like as a surprise. So like, if you've been kind of, unfortunately, maybe like dealing with an abusive relationship or an abusive man in your life, maybe like the father of your children or something like that, and if they've been consistent like that, this is maybe not necessarily talking directly to you, because this comes out of like a surprise that somebody acts this way or there's abusive authority. This is more likely like if you've been dating somebody for like a long time, maybe not that long, maybe like 3 months or so, and all of a sudden they show like a different side of them. That's more likely with this energy. That's what that feels like. So unfortunately, I don't love that energy, but there is, and maybe it doesn't have to do with somebody that identifies as like a man. It could be some kind of abuse of authority in general, right? Like an organization that you find out, again, normally like everything looks good, I could trust them, but you find out like maybe a donation that you made to an organization abuses the donation, and it goes right into the pockets of the leaders of the organization or something like that. So that could be possible too. But more so it's like the stark contrast between like you completely like trust this person or organization to, you know, they come out of nowhere and kind of become abusive or dictatorial, which I don't love. I don't love. So be careful there, guys. All right, friends, we have go the distance. Okay, so this is saying go the distance, meaning continue on. Longevity is another way to kind of put this. So this actually goes well for anybody that has like long-term friendships. This would be like a good week to tap into those friendships and nurture those friendships for sure. This could mean that you're meeting somebody this week that could be a, you know, a long-term friend. This could also possibly, maybe for some of you guys out there, could mean that you go on a long distance trip with a friend or a community member or something like that, somebody you know from the community or somebody close to you, like you decide to book it this week or something like that. So, I mean, all of those are good in my opinion. Going back to the first one, if you have a long-term relationship with somebody, it's important that you nurture those relationships. I can't emphasize that enough. There's a reason that they're long. And so you kind of have to continue to work on those relationships. So, you know, you have to maybe talk about, you know, uncomfortable things or, you know, bring up things that, you know, maybe you've been putting off or something along those lines. But yeah, the relationship is needs to be repaired and needs to continue to go the distance, right? If you want to let it to continue on, you kind of need to have conversations. That's what it's saying here. But it could be any of those things I talked about. All right, romantic connection with mentor. Well, look what it is. I mentioned this energy already. Kind of like coming off of the observer a little bit. We have romantic connection though. It says mentor. So passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Okay, so this is about teaching somebody something, you know, looking at somebody as more wise or something. So it just simply kind of means like somebody in the romantic connection teaches somebody something. Maybe your partner's been going to therapy and they want to teach you something or, you know, something along those lines. This could also mean, you know, maybe my single people, like if you have somebody close to you that's been like a mentor towards you, this could be turning romantic. That could mean what, you know, this could also mean that. So that's interesting because it kind of blurs the line, okay? Obviously consent is needed in relationships. And I don't see it as like I see it more of like a positive thing. So, you know, I do believe like it is something that is, you know, consented on, but could change the dynamic, obviously. Yeah, I feel like it's overall a positive thing for either scenario, basically. So I love that. Somebody's you know, we're learning from our partners. Be open to learning from your partners this week. Yeah, not too much more I can say there. Okay, what's important? Imagine. Okay, we had this too, I think, recently. Visualization, manifesting, thinking about the future, you know, imagining what your life would be like, all that stuff. So it's under important. So it's saying make time for that this week. Think about how you want your life to go, what you want to manifest. And yeah, there's not too much more I can say there with this one either. Health and wellness, we have Queen, but in the shadow, becomes arrogant when authorities challenge, controlling, and demanding. Okay, more controlling behavior. So, look out for possibly somebody that identifies as female or just has more feminine energy in general, being a little bit more controlling. This could be maybe like a female doctor or something. This could be you know, like a female therapist if you're on a mental health journey, you know, maybe you're on a spiritual journey and someone you're working with gets a little bit into this archetype. Nobody's perfect, not even us people in the spiritual community. Just watch out for like a lot of arrogance in general. people thinking that they know what's best for you, and it feels not necessarily aligned with your own intuition. Always, always, always follow your own intuition. Yeah, I think that's it for that. It's again, it most likely might come from, you know, somebody that identifies as female, but maybe not necessarily. But yeah, lots of arrogance, and arrogance to me is like people think that they know best, when it's not necessarily best for you. And that's always hard with health and wellness, right? You know, especially like you want to listen to people that are in authority, right? But it's not, but what people need to understand is, and this it isn't like an anti-intellectual thing or like an anti-doctor thing or an authority thing. But we should be questioning things, right? I think that's very healthy to question things. And I think it's very healthy that if something doesn't feel aligned with you, right? That's what I teach. That's what I say all the time. Then it's not right for you. And you must question that, and you must do what's best for you. So I think that's okay. I think that's okay. So just, you know, there might be some arrogance coming from maybe somebody that we see as like an authority figure, you know, most likely, you know, in their feminine energy, or female identifying, but maybe not. But definitely look out for that. All right, overall outcome. We're ending with Unfinished Symphony. Okay, so it says basically by the end of the week, we kind of finished things up, which makes sense. It ties right back to the yang energy that we had. So it means that we're getting stuff done. So definitely getting stuff done. I will say, to kind of close out like that energy I was talking about earlier, I don't feel like, you know, now that the reading is complete, I don't feel like we're overly busy, okay? We might have issues with scheduling, you know, downtime, but I think the Vampire kind of makes up for it in the Light, because we are not like, we're not letting like the little things kind of drain us, you know, we're a little bit more organized, and responsible, I guess is the way that I can say it, the way that we kind of set up the week. So, it looks like we're getting stuff done that we need to get done without all the little distractions. So that's good. What else? Yeah, I don't see anything that I would say was like a red flag. The Father in the shadow worries me a little bit. And also like the Queen, it's kind of almost like, it's not Queen and King, it's Queen and Father, but it's kind of similar type energy, right? Where there's, you know, an authority figure that, you know, maybe seems like they know best, and it might be in the health and wellness area. But yeah, I don't feel like it's too abusive, I guess I could say. It just feels a little control, like as the card says here, controlling and demanding. But yeah, just watch out for that for sure. And other than that, I think it's like a pretty good week for this, you know, first full week of November. I like it. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm looking at everything. I love that our options are opening up. That's amazing in the change. So, all right, guys, that's it. Please listen to this reading, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the week to kind of get the full picture. And that's it. That is it. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Bye.